Hello, my name is Stephen Wright. I'm a career coach here at Career Mentor, and we help high-performing financial services professionals make their next smart career move. So how do you handle it when you've had quite a number of jobs and perhaps you've moved around quite a lot? How do you handle it when you get to a job interview and you're asked questions about why so many jobs? You don't want to be seen as a job hopper, and it's really important that we anticipate this and think about how to handle this should it come up, when it comes up in a job interview. I think there's a number of things to consider. Let's go through them now. So the first thing is that the job interview is above all wanting to have reassurance that you're going to be a great hire. Part of that is that you've got all the skills and experiences that they're looking for, but they want to know that you're motivated and that you have every intention of staying with them for some time. And the reason for that is because staff turnover is very expensive. When you leave a job, you walk out with all your expertise. The productivity of the department that you're working in necessarily takes a dent. You may well be working out with specialist knowledge or experience that is unique to that particular firm. And then they need to go and recruit, and that's expensive in terms of time and in terms of money. So they want to lower their staff turnover wherever possible. So the tenant or the tone with which you are going to enter into this part of the conversation wants to be all about reassuring them that you have every intention of staying with them because you're clear about what it is that you want and they are a close match to that. But there are critical ways in which you can ask specific questions. Let's run through one or two of them. The first is that you were in a job whereby either the team that you were on or the entire department that you were on is let go, and that's no fault of yours. It's just because the firm made changes, and that might be all about cost cutting, a change in strategy, a change in the leadership team, a downswing in the market, all sorts of things that are beyond your control. I found a statistic with CompuData online where it said that the finance and banking industry in the UK has something like an 18.6% annual turnover, which is amongst the highest of all industries. So it's not unusual that this will be the case. And that's certainly something that I observed in all the years that I was in executive search. Number two is that you may have made a mistake. And if you did make a mistake, then fully own it and fess up to it during the conversation. It may be that you were unclear about exactly what it is that you wanted in terms of the role, the type of company, the culture, and so on. Or it may be that you didn't do your due diligence correctly. You didn't really ask enough questions. You didn't find people who had left the firm recently to try and get under the skin of what's going on. And you didn't do your due diligence, so when you turned up, it wasn't quite what you thought it was going to be. And that raises another point. During all these conversations about your previous employers, it's really important that you don't say anything negative about them. We want to try and keep this at least at par or positive. Number three is that it may be that you are coming out of tertiary education, or you may be making a step change in your career. So for example, somebody coming out of the armed forces, and that you were just finding your feet. And it took a little bit of time, a few jobs, to really get to understand this new world of work, and therefore exactly what you wanted to do and how you wanted your career to go. So it's kind of related to the second point, but finding your feet is certainly something valid. The fourth reason is that you may have been happily employed, working away, but aware that there were some areas such as perhaps progression or gaining of new skills that were not going to happen in this particular job. And then you were approached by a recruiter who was going to move you to another place which did offer those things that the current firm was lacking. And so despite the fact that you had been at that firm perhaps for quite a short tenure, you decided that this was a fairly unique opportunity that you wanted to take advantage of. I think those are the key ways in which you can answer questions that may well come up. But where I would advise you to take the conversation is not have a long litany of all the reasons why each move happened and it wasn't your fault or it was your fault or whatever it may be. Rather than that, once you've spoken about perhaps the most recent moves, then move the conversation, if you can, onto more positive ground. Start talking about the fact that you are now very clear about what you're looking for in the new job in terms of how you want to deploy your skills, the experience you've got, got the culture, the kind of people you want to work alongside, and the reasons why the firm that you're interviewing with, as far as you can see it so far, why you think that matches with what you're looking for. This will make sure that the interviewer you're talking to is reassured that you're now more mature, you're more experienced, you've done your due diligence, and you're much more likely to be a great hire and stay at that firm for a good tenure. I hope you find that useful. I'll be putting the blog that I wrote about this in the comments below, and thanks very much.